Welcome back to the Full Force Fathers podcast. Dave, it is episode 77. Hey, that's similar to the weather you're experiencing in Tennessee right now, right?
Beautiful. Yep. Towards the end of last week, we had beautiful mid-70s. It was paradise. Absolute paradise. Some of the best days since we've lived here. There's one thing I've been looking forward to about moving to Nashville. It's having fall again. I do love me some fall. Don't like what comes after it, but I do love me some true fall.
Yeah, no, I just like here, it's just been an unbearable summer out in the desert. You picked a good one to not have to experience, but fall, I will say that about the East Coast. It is one thing that is spectacular. Where you are, where it's nice and green, where we were in Virginia, fall is just tremendous. The weather, the leaves start changing, and you got 65, 70 during the day, 45 at night. That's spectacular. Carp gets a great fall in South Carolina. You know what I mean? You guys get good weather. Here, this summer's never going to end. We still have an extended forecast in through, because we are now in September. We still have an extended forecast for at least another week that shows 105 every day. So it's like, I've been saying it to you on the phone. It's like Clark Griswold when he gets the Jelly of the Month club. It's just the gift that keeps on giving. That's what Arizona summer is this year.
I love it.
But anyway, so we got episode 77. We got a good episode in store for you, Dave. Why don't you kick us off with numbers? You are taking credit for the numbers today, so I'm going to let you start with the numbers.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we've got some on the NFL side. Big surprise lineman, right? That's where I seem to be focusing. But we actually got some decent other professional sports with number 77, which I was a little surprised about. So we'll get to those in a minute. But first off, Willie Roaf, offensive lineman for the Saints and the Chiefs, 13 seasons, 11 Pro Bowls, 7 All-Pro seasons, and a part of, count them, 2 All-Decade teams. So pretty solid, Willie Roaf. Another guy, defensive end, Willie Davis. He was on that Packers team, the historic Packers championship team with Vince Lombardi. 5 NFL championships, 6 division titles. And get this, he recorded 22 fumble recoveries in 12 seasons. I thought that was pretty legit stat right there.
That's a that's a big number right there. 22 fumble recoveries.
I don't know where he stands on the list right now, but when he retired, he was 1 off the record. So pretty solid there.
Yeah, that's
another offensive lineman. We come back to Jim Parker for the Colts, 11 seasons. He was an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler 8 times. And we talked about how difficult it is to be All-Pro. So when you hear these numbers, it's like you're the best at that position.
Yeah.
In football, which is pretty incredible. But here's an interesting thing from Jim Parker. In 1962, he moved from tackle to guard. He got named All-Pro in both positions that season. How ridiculous is that?
That is freaking ridiculous. That's
crazy, right?
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So those are the main Hall of Famers that are on the list. I threw one in here because I'm a homer, and he plays for the Cowboys. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yes,
Tyron Smith. He's active right now with the Cowboys. 2-time All-Pro first team, 2-time second team, 8-time Pro Bowler, and he's a part of the 2010 All-Decade team. So he's going to be in. It's just a matter of time. If he can stay healthy, that would be a great thing on Dak's blind side. But we'll have to see how the season plays out, which is coming soon, folks. It's coming real soon.
Let me stop you right there. How do you know it's not going to be Trey Lance's blind side?
Well, it's gonna be Dak for at least a season. It'll be Trey Lance maybe next year. Although I read an interesting article that maybe Matt Stafford comes to Dallas next year. We'll see. I don't know. But
your organization is such a dumpster fire with what they're doing to Dak. Like I know he throws picks, but he's got a tremendous arm. He's got a great brain. He's got good legs. He's had a good line. He's made some. Listen, don't get me wrong. He's made some stupid passes in his career, but for the first time, you guys actually had a really good defense, and he got hurt. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm a believer in Dak. That's just how I am. I don't know about you, but I'm a believer in Dak Prescott. You may be a little bit more hard on him because you're a Cowboy fan, but the Trey Lance as a straight backup makes sense to me. And then if Dak with the contract and all other stuff, then maybe Lance can bring up his people. Listen, if Kyle Shanahan And I know you guys got good coach, good offense coordinator. But if Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch couldn't get anything out of him, like, I don't really have a lot of faith that anybody's going to get anything out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, true. I mean, I did see Jimmy Garoppolo came out and said he's rooting for him, and he's got a boatload of talent and just needs to find it, find it again. So we'll see. Maybe. Hey, listen, right now the best option in the Cowboys locker room is Dak Prescott. There's no doubt about that. He wasn't hurt when he lost a playoff game last year. So he makes some bad mistakes, kind of like Tony Romo in a sense, like just bad mistakes at really, really bad times. But, you're in one of those situations, like you're good enough to be like middle of the road, but not good enough to like get over the hump. And you're good enough to be, again, middle of the road, but not bad enough that you can actually get a good draft pick and figure out your quarterback position there. So, I don't know. We've just been in this state of limbo for a very long time.
What I will say about the Cowboys is last year they kind of got the shaft, because think about it. If they lost the playoff game, right? They ran up against the best defense in football and lost. If they had beaten the Niners, they would have had to play the Eagles, who had the second best defense in football. You know what I mean? So it was like, the cards, your playoff cards weren't dealt. You didn't get dealt a great hand for the playoffs last year. You know what I mean? But
no,
that's
for sure.
That's
we'll
what
see.
it is.
As a Cowboy fan, I'm always excited. I'm always excited going in, and then usually 4 or 5 weeks in, I start to see the true team unfold. But maybe this year will be different. Let's hope. Anyway, moving right along. Number 77. We got 2 in the NBA that stood out. One that's really good. One that I just wanted to put in there because I thought it was funny. But Luka Doncic, 32 points a game, 8.5 rebounds a game, 8 assists per game. Dude's legit. I'll let you talk. You watch basketball a little bit more than I do on the NBA side, so you can speak into Luka, but he's probably the best number 77 that will ever come in the NBA.
He's an unbelievable basketball player. He's frustrating to watch at times because you think, like, you look at him, right? You look at his body style, his body type, right? He's not like this big jack, super fast. Doesn't look like he's super fit. He's been known in his career to put on weight in the offseason, kind of be a little bit lazy and sluggish. But the dude just produces. He is literally Tim Duncan 2.0. Never going to wow you with any fancy shit, but it's the fundamental skills that make him so fucking good. Because Tim Duncan, Mr. Fundamental. Luka Doncic is literally like the Eastern European big fundamental, Mr. Fundamental. He's not going to wow you. Like, he's got a good handle, but he's, to me, I'm not being critical of him, but if you look at him, he never at any point looks like he's the best basketball player on the floor. And 9 times out of 10, depending on who they're playing, he is the best basketball player on the floor. Dude can shoot, but it's all like in slow motion. It's kind of like Jokic, right? It just doesn't look right because we are so used to, in today's day and age in basketball, high flying, fast guys, lethal sharpshooters. You're not used to these big Euro slow guys, but they get it done. So I will give him credit for that. He plays for a terrible owner. I wish he didn't play for Dallas. I wish he played for an owner who wasn't a complete moron. But he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal basketball player through and through. You can't take anything away from him. He's an all-star, perennial all-star, NBA for all first team. He's unbelievable. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. No, absolutely no questions asked. You know what I mean? So I'll give him credit where credit was due. He's not a pretty basketball player, but he's a great basketball player.
No doubt about it. And this other guy I put in there just because he's huge. He wears the number 77, and he's 7'7". Remember George Mirasan played for the Bullets?
How could I forget George Mirasan?
Dude, monster. Absolute monster when you saw that guy. I think he could dunk it just standing, couldn't he? He didn't even need to jump. I thought he could just dunk.
Yeah, we had Sean Bradley and George Mirasan. I mean, talk about in back-to-back weeks for just mega humans.
It's great. It's great. Nobody in MLB that really played with 77 for a long period of time. Pudge worked for one season, but not worth putting it in.
Yeah.
On the NHL side, though, I'm going to take this one. I know you're a resident hockey fanatic, but I'm going to take this one because I did the research and I thought it was cool. Ray Bourque, okay, defenseman in the NHL, played for the Boston Bruins for the vast majority of his career. He was a Norris Trophy winner 5 times, okay? He finished second in the Norris Trophy voting 6 times, 19-time All-Star, and he's listed as one of the 100 greatest hockey players of all time. But here's the thing. So he originally wore number 7, which in Boston was Phil Esposito's number.
Mm-hmm.
The Bruins decided to retire Esposito's number, but they told Ray, you can wear 7 for your entire career here. That's perfectly fine. He said he was going to do it, so he kept wearing it until the retirement ceremony came around. When that came out, Phil Esposito came out as a retiring his jersey. Ray Bourque skated over, took off his jersey with number 7, and that was when he gave it to him as his farewell, his thank you for being the best number 7 in Boston history, and then formally switched to 77 at that point for the rest of his career. So he's going into 77, started his career as 7.
Yeah, hockey is a unique sport. It's a great sport. It's an awesome sport to watch. But when you think hockey, like you think Boston Bruins, which is, obviously historical team, great team, all time, one of the franchises. Ray Bourque comes to mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's, Esposito, but I would, in our generation, right? We still saw Ray Bourque play, right? Like Ray Bourque to me is the Bruins. When I think about it, when I think about Boston Bruins hockey, it's Ray Bourque.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So that's our list of 77s today. That was pretty good though.
It's
a good solid list.
It's a very good, very, very good list. If there was a baseball player, it actually probably because of the Luka factor and being in basketball and such great linemen and Ray Bourque, if there was a decent baseball player, that probably would make a tournament. You know what I mean? But the fact is there's just no baseball.
I think, yeah, for sure. But it's certainly probably one of the best numbers south of 50 we've hit.
Yeah. North of 50 or south of 50, however you look at it, right?
Yeah, true.
But anyways, all right, on to the Bible verse today. Bible verse comes from Proverbs. I put this in here because we've been working on the notes here. You had notes, I had notes. We kind of, for those that don't know how we work the show and produce the show, we have a shared folder and a shared document that Dave and I can hop in there and put whatever notes in we want all the time. Not technologically advanced, but it just works well because we're not next to each other and we can both put in notes. So throughout the week, Dave and I both will add notes to a show, topics we want to talk about, or if he puts a topic in and I want to run with it, put the notes in there. So Dave had already put notes in prior to me putting in the Bible verse, which is why I put this Bible verse in there, because it kind of ties into what the main topic of today's show was. And here goes. Proverbs 31, verses 8 and 9. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy. So, Dave, anything on that?
Yeah, I think it ties in well to what we're talking about today. Really, I think it's holding a higher standard. I think that's what it's kind of showing us. Don't be out there for yourself. Help out your fellow man, fellow woman, whoever it may be there that needs the help, needs someone to be in their corner. We need to have a higher standard for ourselves at all times, and I think that's what it speaks to for me.
Yeah. I like that tie-in. And it also is like there's a lot of people out there that don't have a voice, and we as full force fathers and Christians, and we need to speak up for those people, because there are a lot of people out there that are just in a bad spot right now that they just don't have a voice, or they're too scared to speak up for themselves, or because there's a fear of losing a job or making someone mad, because we live in a fucking fake world where everything's on the internet and no one talks to anybody in person anymore. So people are fearful of speaking up and speaking their mind and speaking the truth because of the pushback that they get back. So it falls on those that have the confidence and the wherewithal and the no give a fuck factor, like full force fathers do, to speak up for those that cannot speak up for themselves. Stand up for, especially, those poor people that are going through a rough spot. Stand up for those people. The people are getting picked on, bullying in school and all that other stuff. It's our job as full force fathers to stand up for the people that can't stand up for themselves and can't speak up for themselves. So, anyways, you jump in, or you want me to jump in on the topic here today?
You can start it. Kick it off.
So the bold headline that Dave put in here for this is, and he used the word standard. Our standards our standards suck as a society. Like, Dave could have just put that headline in the notes and we would have had a whole show. You didn't have to type anything behind that because you know me, I'll get all fucking fired up when I read a headline like that. So I want to let's just run with this. So why'd you put that headline in there? Why is that the topic of the show? What do you have to back up that bold blanket statement that you put at the show notes?
Big beef with customer service as a whole for a while now, and I've brought it up on the show. Like, you go to stores and you got to check out yourself now, you got to do all that. So Casey and I went away a week ago for a weekend. It was our first weekend away without the kids in a long time. So we went to a town in Georgia, and it really just kind of opened my eyes to some of the stuff that we just as a society don't care about anymore. It's like, whatever, doesn't matter. Why do I bring that up? Well, the hotel we stayed at, there was, when we pulled in, we got there on a Saturday, right? Left on a Tuesday. In the parking lot, on the ground, there was a diaper, an old diaper, rolled up, a kid's like tray that you would put on like a high chair, and a pair of broken sandals, like destroyed sandals, just laying in the parking lot. It was there the entire time we were there. How many people that work for the hotel just walk past that stuff? When you stay at a hotel, nobody even cleans your room anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They don't clean it. You have to ask. You have to go and you have to ask to say, hey, can I get some new towels? Or can I get the garbage emptied in my room? Can someone just come and give a quick vacuum? Like, those types of things, we just don't do it anymore. And I don't know when that went away, because I feel like that never happened. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm at work, like, work's your house, so you're gonna do this stuff probably regardless. But like, when I'm at work, if I see something on the ground, I bend over and I pick it up, I throw it in the garbage. When I'm in the bathroom, if there's a lot of water on the sink from like washing your hands, I grab a paper towel and you'll wipe it up. Mm-hmm. Those are the types of things that you do, that you just do because you have high standards. But when you go places, you just realize how dirty everything is, how people just don't care about anything. You see people throwing cigarette butts out or throwing their garbage out the window. The amount of trash that you see on the sides of the roads is absolutely disgusting. Just our standards, just from that to like our physical standards, like the amount of obese people in this country right now is just astonishing to me. Like the people that we quiet quit. We don't go to work anymore. We just check out. People have checked out, and I don't know if that started COVID. Did it start before then? When did it start? But that's where the crux of this came from.
Yeah, no, all that. Yes, I second all that, and just like some things that you notice, right? You go to a store, it looks like shit. That diaper in the parking lot is disgusting. Wiping up, those are just basic standards that we live by, right? I love that analogy that you wipe the sink. There's water on it. I do the same thing all the time, dude. My job, I always clean up, pick up after you see a piece of trash on the ground, pick it up, throw it out. Those are just because those are standards that you set for us. And the standards, the bar is set so low for the country in general. I heard a statistic the other day when I was driving, listening to the radio when I dropped the girls off at school, and it was like a trivia question. It was like, last year, the average person used 20 of these. And I'm thinking to myself, these stupid trivia questions. I was like, they did.
Sick days.
You hit it right in the head. 20 and
was it sick days?
Yeah, 95%. It was like 95% of workers used at least 20 of these. And Andine's guess was good. You know what she said?
What?
COVID tests.
Vacation days?
I was like, man, that's a pretty good guess. I never thought of that. But anyway, so 20 plus sick days for 95% of like that to me is just, dude, if you're sick for 3 weeks, that's 4 working weeks if you work Monday through Friday. If you miss 4 weeks of work because you're actually sick, there's a bigger problem there, right? Not to mention vacation days and personal days and if you are sick 20 days of the year, you are in big trouble. Like, that's not good. You shouldn't be sick 20
Oh,
days
yeah.
out of the year.
Oh, for
when
sure.
depending on where you live, more than half of the year is good weather. Like, you can't blame it on the cold. You can't blame it on the this. You can't blame it on the that. You know what I mean? It's absolutely insane to me.
No.
That was a statistic that I heard, that people dude, that's like, think about it. If you work 52 weeks a year, that's like once almost every 2.5 weeks, right? Do the math. You're faster at math. That's like every 2.5 weeks you call out sick once.
Yeah.
That's
it's more than 5% of the time.
Yeah.
And that's without weekends.
Yeah.
That's just 5%, more than 5% of the days in the year you're sick. Or maybe you're not sick. Maybe you're just taking a sick day. That's probably more along the lines of what it is.
Yeah.
Because people I just truly think people don't want to go to work. I mean, we've said this. God, I sound like a broken record. Every store you walk past says now hiring, now hiring, now hiring. There's people hiring everywhere. You can't get people to work. Restaurants are closing because they can't get people to work.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. People they just sit at home. I guess they can make more money at home.
Yeah, my customer
and they just
service
don't want to do
rant.
it.
My customer service rant today. You know, I understand the stores and all the other crap. Nobody wants to work. You know what my customer service rant is about today? People are craving real customer service again. Like, COVID's dead and buried. Whatever it was, it was, you know what I mean? But let's just say in my line of work, I cannot stand the shoot you a text, send you an online app. I think that is if that's what you do to me, you are not going to earn my business. Right? It is, we don't, human interaction. We're like fucking computers now. Like, people don't want to do anything interactive anymore. They do not want to interact with customers anymore. And the amount of people I see in my space that go, oh yeah, no problem, I'll send you the app. And they respond to a text message. They don't even pick up the phone and call you. You get a referral, and that's what you do to a referral. You just send that person a text message and then send them an online app. People are beginning to crave human interaction again. People are noticing that there's so much technology in the world right now, and they're really getting sick of it. In my line of work, if you want to get one step ahead, and I use this saying, you need to have a blue-collar work ethic and a white-collar job. You need to be meeting people. You need to be meeting with your partners, your business partners. You need to be meeting with your potential clients. That is an absolute game changer in 2023 going into 2024. People are tired of the online app. The last 4 apps that I took this week, none of them wanted to do it online. Not one. And that was across 4 different age groups. That was not everyone that's 75 years old and don't know how to use a computer. That was a 32-year-old kid. That was a 40-year-old businessman. That was a 65-year-old veteran. And then another 28-year-old kid. They didn't want to do the online app. They wanted to do the app over the phone or in person. And that, to me, is a huge sign of people that are craving human interaction again. They're so sick and tired of the robocalls and the robo-internet and this and that. It drives me crazy. That's my customer service rant. If you come at me and your business is, here's an online app, fill this out, you've lost my business.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I know I've touched on this one before. The automated checkouts at grocery stores, to me, and other places, Home Depots, Lowe's, like those places, drives me absolutely insane. When my dad was here, we had to go to the grocery store one day, one of his last days here, to pick up something for dinner. Casey and I had just gotten back, so we didn't have much in the house, so we went out to the grocery store. And the grocery store had all the self-service lines open, and they had 2 regular lines open. So I went to one of the regular lines, and I mean, I was through that line in probably 3 minutes, like super fast. I had somebody there, she was scanning all the stuff, another kid there bagging all the groceries, putting them in the cart, and we were out the door. I was like, wow. As we were walking out, I was like, that was amazing. What a better customer service experience that is. And then that got us talking a little bit about it. I'm like, how much, I'm like, they have 2 people there during the week. Cool. Like, how much could that possibly cost to have somebody there all the time to be able to treat customers well, so you have a better response after you go into the store? And he's like, well, think about it from like, it's not just this store, it's not just this town, this state. They have these grocery stores all over the place. So when you multiply that by that, that's when you start seeing the true cost of it. And that's why, and I got us talking about, like, businesses have made the point right now that profits are more important than their customers or their employees for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And they've drawn a hard line in the sand there, I think. And it is refreshing to hear that you have people that actually want to have that communication with you, because when COVID started, that started the whole spiral. Everything's a DocuSign, do this, do that, send it via text message or email, and take care of everything without having to see or talk to anybody. And it is refreshing to know that people are out there craving that again, because I know I crave it. Every time I walk into a store, I crave it. I always seek out the register that has someone working at it, because quite often it's hard to find now.
Yeah, well, you mentioned self checkouts. I would argue, and I may have said this before on the show. We've recorded a lot of shows. It all started with the drive-through. Everything started with a drive-through line at a restaurant. They made it so convenient for you to be a fat fuck. All you had to do was drive through the line, and they would give you your food in your car, and you didn't even have the decency to walk the 25 to 50 steps from your car into the fast food restaurant and then back up. At least you would have burned a few calories. But no one even had the decency to do that anymore. It all became about and listen, drive-thrus were around before internet, right? But it's just, if you look at the evolution of it, right? It started with stores starting to open on Sundays. Remember, we were kids, nothing was open on the weekends, especially Sunday. And then it went to drive-thrus, right? And just look at the evolution of where it's become and where it's headed. And I do think we're reaching an inflection point in the country where, like, paths are going to cross, and something's going to have to give. We're either going to go the way of the AI robot, or there's going to be enough pushback and fight back to where, dude, we got to get back to some fucking basic human instincts, right? Movement, in-person communication, right? Everyone's so scared because we live in an Instagram world where everyone gives a shit about a picture and what comment you're gonna get on a picture, or who's gonna like your picture, instead of just picking up the damn phone and calling somebody, or going to an office, or going and if it's food, going and sitting down at the restaurant. When we were kids, going to McDonald's was like a fucking treat, man. We got to go in there and we got to sit at there and order a food, and there was the Playhouse in there, dude. That is ridiculous, right? And it drives me crazy. Even you said self-checkout. I was in Home Depot the other night. Okay. Home Depot now had one register open. Well, they have the Pro Desk, right? Where you can go to the Pro Desk, and I'm not knocking Home Depot. I love Home Depot. But even Home Depot now has the bank of self-checkouts, and they don't have anybody working a register. They have one person working a register. It's usually a retired person that can't pick anything up. No, once again, I'm not knocking. I'm just, because they're following the trend of the world. But when I go to a hardware store like Home Depot, like, people used to be knowledgeable, like you said. They used to be knowledgeable people that could help you with a project. Now you're getting whatever riffraff comes off the street when people were working.
But why have we? But that's what I mean. Like, we've put profit above everything else. Like, why is there not a company, like a major company out there that's like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this. We value this. We value customer service. We value having higher standards than every other business in the marketplace or in our space. And we're going to offer this. We're not going to do this. Yes, it could save you money at the bottom line by putting in these self-checkouts, and in 5 years they've paid for themselves, or whatever it is. Maybe it's significantly less than that. But regardless, there's something different about the experience you get when you go into a company or go into a place of business that you're getting quality service, in-person service. Now, there's a segment of the population that likes doing this. They like being able to go to the store and just zip through self-checkout and out the door. I don't know if we're like the last generation of not. Like, that might be it. Like, we're the last generation before all of this stuff started to take over. And that's, I think, maybe part of the difference. Like, the younger generations, maybe that's what they like. But I know from our generation, the most part, up, that is a piece of life that we're missing right now. That communication, that in-person, interpersonal communication skill.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And those people, it's just ingrained in us now in the next generation of where you just don't need to talk to people. Everything can just be done. Self-checkout, good. It means you don't have to interact with a human. And then when you actually get the opportunity to talk to these people, they're awkward because they just don't understand it. Not that they are going to be able to do any kind of projects themselves in general, but it's just, it's crazy to me that, people are craving goodness. I don't know if that's the word. People are craving the goodness in their life, right? And they don't know how to express anymore because we're so trapped in a technology world that where technology is more important than real life. And that couldn't be any further than from the truth. Whether it's social media, it's self-checkouts, it's online applications for whatever. You know what I mean? We're so consumed by that convenience factor that but the problem is, what people understand is it spirals out of control because it starts with one thing that's convenient. Then you're sedentary. You're not moving anymore, right? Because everything's at your damn fingertips. And then you wonder why obesity rates are at all-time high and continue to get all-time high. Disease, sickness, it's all at all-time highs because these people are just sitting around all day long and not moving and just taking full advantage of the technology, which has its pluses and minuses. But it's not just the technology that's the problem. It's what it actually does to the actual human.
Well, and the other piece too is when technology fails, we're totally handicapped. We can't do anything at that point now. Not we, you and I, but businesses, people in these businesses, they can't function. I mean, I told a story a few weeks ago, people can't count change anymore. They don't know how to do it. It's nearly impossible. If they don't punch it into the register and it tells them exactly how much to give back of what, they don't know how to do it, which is terrifying. A few weeks ago, we tried to order a pizza from Pizza Hut for dinner one night. And Casey went to go pick up the pizza. And they're like, did you put your order in online? And she's like, yeah. They're like, our online system's down, so we didn't get the order. She's like, okay, no problem. How long does it take to make a pizza? She's like, about 20 minutes. She's like, okay, yeah, I'll wait. Can I get this? They're like, oh, we can't take an order. What? Without the online system, we can't actually take any orders. It's impossible.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. I mean, I remember when I used to work at Home Depot back when I was in college, years and years ago, we had a big power outage in town. I was working at Home Depot, and our cashiers took out the calculators. They went in the back. They got all the money, the change. They had everything. And they were doing everything on a calculator, man, ringing everybody out, looking up old prices. That was phenomenal. That was absolutely phenomenal. And I don't think we could do that anymore. I don't think that's possible in businesses anymore.
No, it's definitely not possible in business anymore, unless you're an old school guy that still writes handwritten invoices and stuff like that. But once again, I bet you 99% of transactions in a store now are debit cards, so no one ever has to count change because 99% of freaking transactions are someone swiping a debit card or a credit card. I shouldn't have said debit card because 99% of people are stupid with money, but I would say 99% of people swipe some sort of plastic versus actually paying cash at the register. You know what I mean? It's just, it's
for sure.
Drives me crazy to think about that's where we're headed. But it makes you think, like you said, with businesses, you're one power outage away from complete chaos. Think about that for a second. If the internet, okay, the almighty internet that you can't see it, you can't touch it, it's there, right? You and I communicate on the internet. We're recording our podcast through the internet, right? This is where, this is a side topic, but this is why we always tell people to be prepared for what could be coming down the pipe or what may never come down the pipe. It's not about being a psychopath. It's about just being a prepared human being for life. One day without the internet, one day, the world would evolve into complete chaos. Complete chaos. I don't care. They always say you're 3 meals away from anarchy or 9 meals away from anarchy, whatever the hell the saying is. 9 meals away from anarchy, at least that could be a few days, right? You're a human, you can live a bit. You're one day without the internet from complete implosion of everything. Yes. Technology, the United States, the economy. I mean, it would be one day, 24 hours, no internet. You couldn't use your cell phone anymore. You need internet for cell phones now. People don't understand that. If you don't have the internet, you can't use your cell phone. It's, you know what I mean? One day without the internet, and there would be a complete implosion of no matter what country, the world. Even if the internet went out just in the United States, it would destroy the world in one day. You know?
Don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah. But anyways, so enough chit chat about this. I want to talk about a proud dad moment really quick. We're full force fathers. I want to talk about a good dad moment. So Madison's running cross country in middle school. She had a few cross country meets. She's doing well. And this is where we say, this kind of ties into the show in the sense of like, we need to be the example, right? We set the standards, start kids off on the way they should go and they will follow, right? From Proverbs. It's Madison runs cross country. As you all know, I train like a psychopath. The other day I went outside and I was like, I got to get a second workout in. It's 107. I don't want to be outside in 107, but it is what it is. I got to get a workout. So I throw my weight vest on and I go and run the hill. And all three of my girls, Madison, Caroline, and Finley, all came out and ran. Madison ran a few laps with me. Caroline ran a lap with me. Finley ran a lap with me. And it just, no matter what it is, eating, money, exercise, they are watching. Because there was no forced, because no one wants to be outside when it's 107 out. There was no forced, hey, get on the hill with me. Right? They know how hard I work, and they see that. And that's what they do. And that's how hard Madison's been working at cross country, right? And Caroline and whatever she's working on, school stuff. And Finley learning so much stuff in kindergarten. They work so hard at it, right? But the fact that they all came out and ran laps with me was like such a moment. Yeah, it was miserable. It was 107 out. It's okay, people. Okay, crazy, softy snowflakes. Your kids can go outside in 107. They'll be fine. Now, if your kid's obese, maybe not such a great idea. But if your kid is seasoned and trained and they exercise daily and they get outdoors and they get movement and they eat healthy and they drink water, your kids are fine in 107. Okay, so come at me with your nonsense. You can shut the fuck up. Okay? But the fact that they came out with me made me such a moment of joy that my kids were out there on the hill with me in the heat training, because Madison knew she had a cross country meet the next day and she wanted to get another training. And then Caroline saw her big sister doing it and wanted to do it. Awesome. And then Finley saw her sisters doing it and it's like, yeah, that's me too. Right? And she's out there trying to run faster than two of the older ones. So that's a huge proud moment. But it ties into setting the standards. We are full force fathers. It begins with us. Okay? And if you're not healthy, get healthy. If your kids are unhealthy, get them healthy. Because like I said earlier in the show, we're at an inflection point right now where we are relying so much on big government and big pharma that mold needs to be broken. And I know this, it's not the life that you want to live. It's, it starts with us. We have to be the head of household. Strong men lead. That's what we are. That's what full force fathers are. We are strong men that lead. And that's just my moment that I wanted to be excited about.
Great. That's fantastic. I like it.
Anyways, couple little house cleaning. Not house cleaning, just little tidbits. 75 hard started again for me, Dave. I started back on August 30th August 28th, whatever day it was. Because my race is just 3 weeks away. And I said, there's no better way to fine tune myself for a 50-mile run than if I just do a 30-day. So I'm not doing all 75 days, but I'm going to do a 30-day stint. So essentially like phase 2, I'm going to do a 30-day stint of 75 hard all the way up until the day of my race to keep my body maintained, keep everything strong, keep the diet strict as can be. So I'm completely dialed in for my race in 30 days. We just had Labor Day. We went camping. That was fun. We were up in the mountains. It was colder, I should say, compared to what we've been dealing with in Tucson. How about you? Quick, give me a minute on Georgia. What was it all about? Speaking of Georgia, representing North Georgia right here.
If you 7, there you go.
If you know this logo, this logo.
Georgia was fun. Yeah, for sure. No, Georgia was a lot of fun. We had a good time. We went to a little German town, North Georgia in the mountains. It was nice just to get away. No schedule, no got to do this at a certain time sort of thing. We had a lot of fun. Did some hiking. Got into the woods, saw some waterfalls, ate some good German food, had a little German beer, which I always enjoy. So that was great. Labor Day weekend, man, I just got back from Austin. First weekend there, football is in full swing. So here we go. Fall is going to get crazy. We got the NFL this week coming up, man. Fantasy football draft. So it is good, man. Things have been great. I cannot complain.
Yeah, just a couple days till the NFL season is officially underway here, and we'll take it from there.
Yes, sir.
Got a book? You want me to just pull one off the shelf here?
Pull one off the shelf.
Okay, I'm just gonna blindly put my hand up there and grab a book. Oh, it's a good one. Undistracted by Bob Goff. Capture your purpose, rediscover your joy. I haven't read this book in a long time. It's been over a year probably since I read this book, but it's a fantastic joy. Just the first sentence on the back kind of ties in perfectly that I picked this book because we live in such a distracted society. The first sentence on the back, you live with a massive amount of distraction, is the first sentence on the back of the book. If that doesn't hit it perfectly, listen, desperate headlines, i.e. don't watch the fucking news because the media just lies to you. Smartphone scrolling. We don't live in real life. Instagram is not real. That's not the real world. And an endless to-do list, not to mention the nagging questions of your heart. Am you making the right decisions? Are you with the right person? What will my past mistakes keep me from my best future? Undistracted. It's a great book. Go read it. By Bob Goff. He puts out some good stuff. Follow him on the internet. If you live in your social media world, he's got a pretty good Instagram. He puts out cool little quotes and shit. So that's your book of the day. Undistracted by Bob Goff. Take us home, Dave. Let's go have fun.
All right, everybody. Get out there. Continue to live the full force life. Raise your standards. Raise the standards of your family. Make that a priority. Enjoy football. It's back. We'll see you next week.